FA Cup winners last season. This year, what can we achieve with this very aged squad of free transfers? We'll talk about that today. Let's go and see what we can do in season number 9. Let's get into it. And welcome back to the channel. My name is Clayts, and today we've got episode number 9, season number 9 of our Plymouth save. The Plymouth save, where we're only signing players on free transfers. And yet, despite this hindrance, this sort of barrier to success, we did manage to achieve success in the last episode. In the last season, we won at Wembley. We won the FA Cup last year, beating Liverpool in the final. I was as shocked as you were when this actually happened. We did it as a live com, didn't we? And just things sort of clicked into place. I don't know what happened, but we won 5-1 against Liverpool. A Liverpool team, by the way, that has Haaland, Salah, this guy called Brock, who is a joke. Look how good he is, right? He's 22. And he's English and he's this good. He's got 18 pace and 19 acceleration, 20 agility, 18 finishing. He plays for Liverpool, but we beat them 5-1 at Wembley. Goals from Kyle George, you got 2. Tongia got 2. And who got our other goal? Was it an own goal? It was Ugarte who got the other goal. I did notice as well, looking at this from last episode, Kyle George scored twice and he did score twice, right? Yeah, he scored twice and got 3 assists. What a man. This man is carrying us pretty heavily at this point. The best thing, though, is that actually he's only 27 years old. He is now proven to be able to score in the Premier League, and we get him for the future, which some of our players you can't really say that about because we are quite old as a squad. We'll talk about that today when we do a bit of new transfer discussion and we go and buy some players, of course, on those free transfers when their contracts run out, and maybe make a bit of a plan for the future, because once again, I'm kind of confused about what the future entails for us, really. Where do we go from here? Is this our Everest? I certainly hope not, but winning the FA Cup seems like an unexpected achievement, and yet I don't really know where we go from here. I mean, if we have a look at the league table from last year, we finished 8th, and I'm looking at that thinking, can we catch the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Manchester United? They've got like Haaland and Mbappe, etc., etc. Maybe Spurs and West Ham. Maybe we need to be aiming to qualify for the Europa League through the league next year. Maybe if we get lucky, we can push into that top 4. It seems unlikely, though, being able to dislodge any of this top 5. So is it going to be possible? I don't know. Especially, I suppose it comes down to who we're able to sign in the summer, which is going to be our next port of call. So I guess we just go forward into that now and see who is available to sign in the summer of 2029. I will see you when I've done a little bit of business. I'll see you then. Before we do jump forward to that bit of business that we've done in the summer, a big thank you to my Patreons. Thank you so much for your support in pledging towards supporting this channel. If I really can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. If you do want to become a Patreon, the link to that is down in the description below the video. There are a whole host of perks over there as well, which you can go and check out, such as, you know, podcasts that we're going to do that are only available to Patreon or Claytron members. There are also all the tactics that I use in any of these saves. If you want to access any of these tactics, I do just upload them as I go through. So if you want to use this, it is over on the Patreon as well. So go and find out how you go and do that. See the link to everything. Check out if you want to. And if you do, your name will also be in the video. And I will say a big thank you to you every time because I really, really do appreciate it. Other than that, though, if you don't want to pay to support the channel, please make sure you just subscribe because that is free. And also, we are so close to 15,000. So thank you so much for all the new subscribers on the channel recently. And thank you to those of you who've been here forever. I do appreciate you as well. Leave a like on the video. Leave me a comment down below too. And we'll get on with making some signings for season number 9. I will see you then. Okay, so it's the first game of our brand new season, season number 9. And actually, just to show you, the first game this year is the Community Shield against Manchester United. So there is another chance of silverware here. I hope we can do the business. We're not going to do it as a live comp because it's the Community Shield. It's basically a friendly, isn't it? Also because I am fully expecting us to lose because Manchester United are a joke. They're really, really good. I have, though, of course, made some signings. Some players have joined the club. Lots of players, actually. This many. How many is that? That is 12 people have joined the club this year. And some of them, I think, are going to be successful. Some of them are a little bit of a punt, a little bit of a gamble, if you like, because I don't know if they're going to be great. But also, when you're doing just free transfers, it's kind of, you have to do a bit of a scattergun approach, I think, to see if there's any gems that you can find. We have, of course, only spent £0 because they are all on free transfers. I don't think there was anybody at the end of last season that we did bring in. No, there wasn't. So these are all our free transfer signings. We'll go through them one by one to show you who has been brought in. But I suppose I should also show you the players that have moved on and left the club too. A slightly smaller list, but if we go through, Aziz Utara has moved on to Spezia. He was a decent player for us, actually. He played a fair few games. In fact, we should probably honour him just by showing you how many games he did play for Plymouth. He was here for 4 seasons. Last year, he's one of our centre-backs. He played 28 times. So are we losing a really good centre-back there? Potentially. I think I've replaced him, though, with some decent ones. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll go through the tactic and the approach for this year as well. I think we might move away from the 5 at the back, maybe. We'll get to that. Another player to leave is Lucas Piton. He was unhappy. He was there. We've also got Riquelme. He was probably our best left back. However, he was so unhappy. He wanted to leave. He wouldn't sign a new contract, so he's moved on. He played 24 times in the league last year. Wasn't great. Got 5 assists. We've also got Riquelme and Brandon Williams who can play left back, so I thought we can let him move on. He's gone. Are we weakening the team slightly with that? Maybe. But it's one of those things. He wouldn't sign a new contract and he was going to go out of contract anyway. Well, he did go out of contract, so he's moved to Brighton. Xavi Simon's gone on loan. I don't know if he's got a work permit. Is that the issue? Or was he just not very good? He's just not very good, I think, was the issue with him. He's moved on. Hendrik Reyes has gone on loan again. So has Andres Nemeth and Wang Weian. I don't know if I showed you Wang Weian. He came in January without a work permit. I thought he could be quite useful off the bench, but without a work permit, he's useless because he literally cannot play. He's gone to Mexico, so we'll just wait to see if we can get him a work permit in the future. Eliane, who is a decent youngster, never quite been first team quality, has gone on loan to Crystal Palace for the year. He's going to play in the Championship this year. Hopefully that helps him to come back and be a better player, maybe a starter for us. He's played a few games for us. Played once last year, 2 games in total, look, and then played 6 games the year before that. I had kind of high hopes for him. I just wonder now, is he going to be good enough? I do want to develop the youth because, as we've kind of mentioned, our team is very, very old. And then they all retire and then we have to replace them. And it's an ongoing cycle like that, which is probably not going to take us to the next level. That's why players like Kyle George are so important because they're actually only 27. They can be here for 3, 4, 5 seasons at a time. The final signing is a big one. Conrad Lima has moved on to Shakhtar for £15 million. He's 32 years old. He played 25 times for us last year without doing too much. I had high hopes for him at the start of the year. I really like him on FM, but his technicals aren't great. He's only going to get worse as he's getting older. For that money, 15 million, nearly 16 million, I thought, you know what? We're going to let him move on to Shakhtar. So that's where he's gone. It allows us to go and spend a bit more on wages. One thing to point out before I show you the incomings, by the way, if you look at the Club Vision. One of the Club Vision objectives is to spend the original transfer budget, which I don't know if we can do that. I'm hoping that by putting all our money into the wages and then spending the wages means that we can meet this. But I'm a bit worried that we're going to have a Club Vision objective that we can't meet because of our own self-enforced rules. Let's hope that isn't an issue, but we should be fine regardless, right? Because we're still massively overachieving in terms of the Club Vision because they want us to avoid relegation. We're finishing 8th and winning the FA Cup, etc. We're still defying the odds somewhat, aren't we? Anyway, let's go into the transfers in, and there are 1 or 2 of these, as I mentioned, that are gambles. 1 or 2 of these that I think are really good signings. Let's start with the poster boy, the thumbnail of Fabinho. Fabinho has joined Plymouth. I think this is our most high-profile signing we've ever made. I know we had Carlos Tevez way back in the day, but this is a certified baller, if you want to use the term. He's still really good. I know he's 35 years old, but look how good he still is. He's still got pace of 12 acceleration and 13 pace, and he's going to be probably a centre-back for us. Now, that might upset some people because he's so good that you should probably use him in midfield. But what was the one area we wanted to improve? It was defence, wasn't it? And actually, look how good he can still be as a ball-playing defender. I think he can really, really solidify us. And hopefully we don't concede, I think it was like 85 goals or 76 goals, something ridiculous. We had a negative 11 goal difference last year. Hopefully bringing in Fabinho can help with that. He's on massive wages, but of course he is. It was the only way we could get him to actually join us over lots of other big clubs, by the way, that were in for him. I think it's a bit of a coup for us. I'm very excited to have Fabinho. That's why I've made him the thumbnail player. He's in, but also alongside him in that defence, I think I'm pretty happy with this one as well. Diego Carlos has joined the club. Another Brazilian, someone who maybe was a bit of a pacey centre-back back in the day. Still got 10 acceleration, which isn't too bad, 12 pace. I think he's still good enough. Great bravery, aggression. He's going to be probably the partner with Fabinho, and I think that is a much better centre-back partnership. The only problem with it is the fact they are 35 and 36. So next year, we're probably going to have to go and sign new ones again. So is that an issue? Probably. But for now, I'm quite happy with it. I think we look like we're much better defensively. I'll show you what the squad will look like afterwards. He's also become a coach at the club. His contract, interestingly, does run for 3 years. So hopefully he stays for a while. We will see. The rest, though, well, who's the next best one? I suppose let's do the best signings first, which I think are Carlos and Fabinho. The next one that I think is a really good signing, Amadou Haidara, I think is still excellent. And he's only 31, which is a spring chicken compared to some of these, isn't he? A real midfielder for us. Maybe the central midfielder attack that we might use in our tactic this year. Still very, very good. He played lots of games for Gladbach last year, look, in the Bundesliga. We've managed to bring him in to Plymouth to play in the Premier League. 115k a week. Still very good, isn't he, Haidara? Very excited about him. He's had a decent career, look, in the past, look, going from like Salzburg to Leipzig to Dortmund, on to Gladbach, and now to us. So I think he could be good, and he's probably my third good signing that we've made. The rest maybe are slightly more gambly, as you've seen. The next one, though, I'm going to show you is Rainer Kostman. I think he could be quite good. A youngster who's got a massive value straight away. 20 years old. He's a wing-back / full-back, and he's German, and I think he's got a load of potential. According to our coaches, he has a load of potential. I think he looks really good, right? We've managed to bring him in off 15k a week. He's a Bayern Munich youngster. Played 3 games for them. Most of his game time came for the Bayern Munich second team, or the B team there, but again, I think that's a good signing. I think he can definitely play a part next year. Maybe on this right-hand side. We do have a decent right-back in Ethan Laird there, don't we? But I think he might well get some game time. Then after that, we've got Nicholas Stark, another centre-back. I'm trying to make sure we've got enough centre-backs. He's quite meta. He's not particularly fast, but he's nice and tall. And I think I like Nicholas Stark since I've had him for Hertha back in the day. So he's been brought in. And then the rest of them are kind of, they might be good. They might be rubbish. You could probably insert the Gennaro Gattuso clip right here, couldn't you? But we're not going to because he swears a lot in that, doesn't he? Let's go through them. Dani Ceballos is the first one. He's 33. He's coming on a free. He looks okay still. He hasn't lost all of his physicals, which can happen at that age. Will he play games? We'll find out this year. I don't know. Next one, in a very similar mould, is another 33-year-old in Jack Grealish. Again, very high profile, but he has lost quite a lot of his physicals. He's only got 10 acceleration, 8 strength, 6 jumping reach, etc., etc. Again, great mentals. He could be a real good role model for some of our players, and decent technicals of 2, as you'd expect. But is he going to be great? I'm not sure. The next one, now this one is a bit of a gamble. I've put this guy on £135,000 per week, and well, I know it's terrible, right? I know that's a terrible contract, but our money situation is ludicrous. I feel like I need to justify this. I really do. We've got £131 million in the club. I've brought all of these players in already, and yet, if I go to the transfer tab, we've still got £111,000 per week available and 60 million to spend. If I put that all into the wage budget, it would give us, in fact, I'll do it right now, £803,000 per week to spend. So it's a silly amount. I know it's a silly amount, but I think we can justify it as a bit of a punt, as a bit of a gamble to see if he turns out as a good player. He could turn out good. He's 22. He's French. He's got he's got all right potential. He's got good value anyway. We could probably sell him on for a profit and maybe hopefully get rid of his wages. I know it looks bad, but maybe he'll be amazing. Maybe he will be terrible. Let's go through the other ones, though. We've got Robertoni, who I've signed before on FM, is very good. He could be a bit of a midfielder option for us. He is 32. Quite like him. We talked about Diego Carlos, and then we've signed some centre-backs. I was like, we still don't have enough centre-backs, even after bringing in like Stark and Carlos and Fabinho, because we let players like Utara go in the summer. Also, as I should mention, some players were also released. Tellez retired, Lazaro left, and Armini left. So another centre-back leaving there in Armini. Should I have kept hold of him? He's barely played in the years he's been here, and he just isn't quite the Armini that I know. In fact, he's gone to sign for a League One team, so I think that says everything. Preston have snapped him up, so he's moved on. That means that we did need to bring some more centre-backs in, and I've decided to bring in these ones here. Jung Jong-hyun, who's a 22-year-old. decent centre-back, I think. Could develop into a decent player. He is a South Korean international. After him, Arnau Casas, who is a Barcelona B team centre-back. Again, 6'3". He's quite meta. Could play a role, especially if he develops. He's only 25. And then the last one, Emmanuel van der Black, is a 6'3" centre-back. I don't know if any of them are good enough, but if we've got loads of them, we can just play the ones who are the best out of those. So we will see how it goes. Those are the signings. If I suppose the other things to show you are, some people are asking, how are we doing in terms of improving things? As you can see, with this money we've got from not buying players and also from selling players for quite a lot of money quite often, we are also always trying to improve the training facilities, youth facilities, etc, etc. This is just an ongoing thing that I'm doing. The facilities are still pretty basic because they were so low, because we started in League One, didn't we? So we're getting there towards a Premier League sort of standard. I'm just doing it ongoing. So if you're wondering, that is definitely going on in the background. The other thing I suppose I could show you before we jump through and see how the season goes is the season preview. The season preview looks like this. We are predicted to finish 14th in the league, which is better than most seasons. We're 150 to 1 in the odds, which isn't great. The players that are listed as our best players on here, which the key players, as you can see, are Armando Broja, and the other one is Manuel Ugarte, which they're both some of our key players, aren't they? Let me show you the tactic then that we're going to use, and then we'll jump forward until the end of the season and I'll show you exactly how season 9 has gone. Okay, so here is the tactic that I'm thinking of using for season number 9 then. It is a change from last year, and do you remember how we got some success by going to the 5 at the back? I'm still a little bit wary of that. We could still yet go back to the Cuba North Hill, which looks like this. And to be honest, I probably will. This is going to be, in my head, you know how you want to change things. In my head, I want to use this, but actually, should we go with the more defensive system where we've got 3 centre-backs? Probably. But for now, I'll show you what the new thing is, and it is this one here. Danny Martin is still our only goalkeeper. Right back, we're going to go with inverted wing backs in Riquelme and Kosman. They seem pretty meta. They seem good in FM22. So let's try them out. We've got players that could do that in Kosman. By the way, if Kosman's no good, which it does remain to be seen, Ethan Laird can definitely come in and do that. Ethan Laird is still really, really good. Look, a very decent option for us. But maybe we'll go with Kosman. I'll put him back in for now. At centre-back, as I mentioned before, Diego Carlos and Fabinho, I think we've definitely improved there. If either of those can't play, we do have other players that can come in. Reece Williams, for example. Loads of the centre-backs we signed, like Van der Ven's still here, by the way. We've got De Black or Van der Black. We've got Stark that can come in. Yerry Mina is still a Plymouth player. I think this will be his last season. I don't know how many games he's actually going to play. But our defence this year will probably look like this, at least for a little bit. In front of the defence, Ugarte will play the deep line playmaker role. He has been an evergreen player for us, hasn't he? He's been here for so long now, since 2025, playing most games a season. Probably the most long-term player we've got at the club right now, I'd imagine. Maybe Kyle George is up there. Ugarte then will play alongside Haidara in this midfield. I've got high hopes for Haidara. In front of them, Tonga, another really impressive player for us. Somebody to build the team around. Again, 27 years old. It's so vital to have these players in there. Haidara, even at 31, could be so important. Sene is going to play on the right-hand side. He's going to play as a winger. He got a lot of goals for us last year as a sub. In fact, look, he got 15 goals in 18 starts. He's very effective. Is Mamadou Kali Sene. I'm going to start him this year, I think, as a winger, which is his most natural position. So we'll see how he goes from the right-hand side. Broja goes back to this left-hand side as the inside forward. It's a bit like an old system we used to use this, isn't it? And then up front will be Kyle George. We've got other players that can come in, like Kubo, who's played a lot of games. Ferrai played a lot of games. Brandon Williams at left back. If I show you the rest of the sub, the squad's quite big. I actually don't know if I can register everybody. That's a bit of a worry, but this is sort of the system. If we go back to this, it will change to be something like, if I just pick with the best team here to show you sort of what it will be like, it will be a bit more like this, I think. Maybe Van der Black comes in. Fabinho will probably play as a centre-back still, but it's kind of similar. They're kind of interchangeable, as you can see. This is the plan. I'm going to see you at the end of the season to show you exactly how the plan has gone. Fingers crossed for a successful season. I will see you in May. And here we are then at the end of the season. And for season number 9, we finished 7th, which I'm kind of okay with. I was going to say I'm disappointed with, because actually it's kind of another season of the same again. But do you know what? 7th place and qualifying for the Europa Cup 2, which is the Conference League. I'm kind of okay with it. I think it's what we expected. We've had a bit of an up and down season, which I'm going to show you now. We've had some real high points as well as some slightly low points. But before we get into that, I just want to show you something that I think represents a little bit of progress. This year, our goal difference was 0. Last year it was a negative number. It was negative 11. The year before that, was it negative? The year before that, it was 4 last year. But I think we fixed what was a real issue before that, negative 20. Look, I'm saying negative because it's technically the correct term, not minus. That's the teacher coming out right there, isn't it? If I go back before that as well, minus 18 or negative 18. So actually, is it progress? I guess we had that one really good season where we got 4. But it feels like after last year getting minus 11 or negative 11, getting negative or getting 0 this year and breaking even, 70 goals for, 70 goals against, I think I'm okay with it. I think we've done all right. It was Leicester, the only club that wasn't that top 5 that we looked at earlier in the video that finished above us. And it was 4 points that ultimately separated the two teams. Their form, by the way, they really tried to throw it away at the end, didn't they? But it wasn't quite possible for us. Let's have a look at our season then as a whole and show you how some of the signings did, some of the other signings. I think I might have made 1 or 2 extra ones on top of what you've seen. I will also a little bit of a sneak preview because I've started to do the transfers for next year already. So I'll show you at the end of today's video, as well as showing you the tactics that we used, etc, etc. So just to show you, in terms of what we did use as the tactic, I actually did start the season. We started the first game using what I showed you before, which is the Drake Circus. For most of the season, at the start, I did go back to using the 3 at the back, and we did start the season with this one for most of it, and then I did revert back to the Drake Circus, the 4-2-3-1 after that as well. So just bear that in mind when I show you these results. We started with the Community Shield, which I did say we were likely to lose. We did lose it. We lost 4-0. They dominated us. They've got Luca, as well as having Haaland. Haaland play for Liverpool or Man United? No, as well as having Mbappe, they've got Lorenzo Luca. They're a joke, Manchester United. We lost 4-0 to them. But then in the league, we did win 3-1. Then we lost. Then we won. Then we lost. Then we won. Then we lost. Then we won. As you can see, it was very up and down. We couldn't get any consistency. We did win a couple of decent games. Look, in the Europa League, which we were playing in this year, we were beating teams like Young Boys 5-1. Really nice. Drawing to Hertha Berlin away from home, which was also nice. Then losing to Spurs. You can see there's just no real consistency in the results here. A decent run through October, look, towards the end of October with some decent results. And then we play teams like Chelsea and we lose the game. You can see by our goal scorers that Kyle George, as I go through, is still being our main man in front of goal. I will show you all the player stats before the end of this episode as well. There's another win in the Europa League. Then we drew to Everton. We beat Hertha Berlin 5-0 here, look. That was wild. Really, really good. And then we played Manchester United again and lost 6-2. Here's a nice run of form, though. 6-0 wins against Young Boys. We beat Arsenal. We beat Villa. We beat West Ham. That was in December. And then after our decent form, we had a draw against City, which I suppose is a good result in itself, as well as some losses. We lost to Reading, who were back in the Premier League this year. They got 2 late goals in that game. We lost to West Ham and then won 4 on the bounce in January, where I was trying to make some new signings and trying to do some signings for the summer as well in terms of end of contract negotiations. Some good results in there, look. Going through in the Carabao Cup to the, this was going through to the final of the Carabao Cup. We did go and make another final, which I'll skip forward to. We lost. I was going to maybe do it as a live com in today's video. Then I was like, I'm not going to, because it's Manchester United. We know how it's going to go. We pushed them really close. We actually led until the 68th minute, where Mbappe scored a penalty and then Jude Bellingham broke our hearts at Wembley. Another final, though. We are doing well in the competitions, as you see some of the results here. I think this is sort of around the time that I changed to the 4-2-3-1 again, and actually our results were really, really good. We beat Chelsea 6-1. Did we play the 4-2-3-1 in this game, or was this still with the 3 at the back? Still with the 3 at the back, as you can see. You see some of the players that are playing. Fabinho playing at the back with Carlos. It's very similar to what I showed you was going to be the 11 at the start of the season. Great result there, though. And then some really good form, actually, after that. As you can see, especially here after losing to Manchester United twice, Carabao Cup final, and then FA Cup 5th round. That was our end of our FA Cup run in this year, as we tried to defend our crown, not to be this year. But after this, look, really good run until maybe the highlight of the season. In fact, almost certainly the highlight of the season. We played Real Madrid in the Europa League. I feel like we need to click on this game and show you it. We beat Real Madrid. We won against Real Madrid. Plymouth. We beat Real Madrid. We played the 4-2-3-1, as you can see. Did we deserve to win? I'm going to go with no. But we did win. We had 9 shots compared to their 24. Jack Grealish scored the opener. Broha and Kyle George with the other goals. Zaniolo and Kulusevski could not do enough for Real Madrid. There's the Real Madrid team in case you wanted to see it too. It's a pretty good team, actually, just looking at their players. Gnonto turns into a bit of a beast, doesn't he? Very, very good at 26 years old. Look, they were dispatched. Thoroughly dispatched by us as we then went and drew. I think we drew 0-0 in the second leg, right? Yeah, we drew 0-0 in the second leg in the Bernabeu. Great result once again, look. Probably those 2 results maybe the best in our history. Up there with that Liverpool FA Cup final, as well as beating Leicester 5-4, as you can see there. Great run of form, which did just about enough to finish us in that top 7 places in the league and qualify for us for the Europa Conference League last year. Ultimately, even if we'd won our last game, which was against Southampton, we wouldn't have finished 6th place, which was the aim for me at this stage. I was like, can we just finish 6th? Get to the Europa League again. But, well, a great run in the Europa League, which was ended by Chelsea, by the way, in the semi-final. We had 2 red cards in this, as we drew 1-1 at Stamford Bridge and then lost on penalties in the home leg. We lost on pens. Otherwise, it would have been a Europa League final, which, of course, we would have done as a live com. But a penalty shootout defeat. A Seaman scored. It was Diego Carlos who missed our last penalty. We played brilliantly, but Chelsea are also really good. You can see the Chelsea team there. Look, some brilliant players in their team. Ravella ran the show from midfield. They've got Pino as well. Yeremy Pino, also really, really good, as well as Lukaku up front. That was a Europa League semi-final. Is that going to improve our reputation enough next year? I hope so, because that's kind of our sticking point, isn't it? Are we going to be able to do enough to move up to attract better players each year? It's a bit of a struggle at this stage, but I guess finishing in the Europa League semi-final and finishing in the top half of the Premier League, it should help each time. I actually want to know, what is our reputation on here? Do we get to see it on here? I think you do. We are national. Surely finishing Europa League semi-final is going to take us to Continental soon. I hope so, because that will really help with being able to bring in better free transfer players, which I am also on the move with, trying to bring in 1 or 2 too, which I will show you in a second. Back to those results though, just to show you the end of the season. Some decent results to finish, as I said, 7th place in the league. Europa League final, Carabao Cup final. No silverware for this year, though. Some good performances from our players as well, though. If we go to the tactic, just to show you some player stats, our top goal scorer once again was Kyle George with 31 goals. Less of them this year coming in the Premier League, but lots of goals in the Cups. Only 16 league goals this year, which is a bit of a drop-off. But he did get 7 goals in the Cup and 8 goals in the Europa League. So still just maybe spreading out his goals slightly more. But he was our top goal scorer. Some decent contributions from Broha with 22, 9 goals from Sene from the right-hand side. Kubo got 5, 13 from Tonga from just behind the strikers. Some big performances from our defenders. Look, Fabinho, who is retiring in about 2 days' time. Very sad indeed. Diego Carlos looks like he's going to play on for another year, but Fabinho, who has been sensational for us as a centre-back this year, really, really good. He's made us so much better, I'm sure of it. You don't really see it in his average rating there. In fact, it says that they don't get on, these two, but he's been really good. Trust me from just looking at the match engine. Diego Carlos will continue. Fabinho won't, though. I think Ethan Laird played most of the time at right back. It was him instead of quite a lot of games from Kosman more recently, but he didn't quite get into the team as I wanted him to be at the start of the season, as I talked about him. But I think one for the future still, for sure, for Kosman. Were there any other transfers that I need to show you about or talk to you about? There was. We needed a sub-keeper, and we brought back Arthur Akwonkwo, who's going to be our backup goalkeeper. Danny Martin did get injured, and we have nobody else who can play in goal. So I did bring back Akwonkwo. I don't know if he's ever going to play a game for us, because when I brought him in, it was too late, and Danny Martin was back anyway. So that's that one. There are, though, as you may have just seen, a bit of a sneak peek, some future transfers on their way into the club. We can get rid of this one, which is just an inquiry. It's not going to happen, but 5 players already joining us in July in about a month's time. Bremer will help us at the back to replace Fabinho. Pretty good option, I think, for centre-back. He's 33 again. This is the problem. We can only sign the players who are very, very old. Bremer comes in, though. Emerson Royale, I think, could be a decent option, at least as a backup as well. He's 31. That's why I wanted to push that one through. Then Rakic in the midfield, or Racic, I want to say. let me know how you pronounce his name. I think he could be a good midfielder for us, actually. He's 6'4", which I like about him. Robert Skov as well, because I love him. He's a legend. If you know, you know. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know about Robert Skov. He is going to be joining Plymouth, which I'm very happy about. And then Otavio, to play in behind the strikers. He's just got great mentals, some decent technicals. I think he could be a nice little player. Bit of a playmaker in behind the strikers. He comes in to show you who I'm planning to sign as well, if it's possible, which it might not be, but there are some players that play for, like Yves Bissouma is going out of contract. I'd love to sign him. If I show you as well players who play in the Premier League that I want to go and sign too, specifically one of them, it is, where is he? João Palhinha is a player I'd like to go and sign from Chelsea as well. So keep an eye on that one. That's a bit of a look ahead to the future, but that, I think, is where we will leave it for today. A bit of a meh season overall, but it had the promise to be sensational. Europa League final almost, Carabao Cup final that we just about lost. It could have been sensational, but it's kind of a bit of a reset season, a bit of a let's go again next year with some of the good players we come in. And I think we could still go and do big things with this Plymouth team, although it is very, very difficult. I'm also acutely aware that today's episode was very, very long. So if you've made it to the end, you need to let me know by leaving me a comment down below that just says, I made it to the end, because that means you are the real OGs of this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you don't mind the longer episodes. I think it's really good to get everything out, to sort of explain everything, how the save goes. And yeah, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy this series. I will be back probably in about a week's time. It's hopefully as quick, maybe a little bit quicker than that, because it is half term for me, so I can maybe churn out a season a little bit quicker. But thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. I will see you in the next one. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.